Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review BloodRayne. Revenge never tasted so sweet.
Directed by Uwe Boll and starring Kristanna Loken, Michael Madsen, Matthew Davis, with also appearances by Michelle Rodriguez, Billy Zane, and Ben Kingsley. Based on the video game of the same name, it follows a half-human, half-vampire, Rayne, who is out to seek revenge on the vampire who killed her mother. So, what do we like?
I liked our cast. There's a lot of recognizable names. The fact that you have like Ben Kingsley as like a lead vampire, Udo Kier as like a priest, and Meatloaf as like the sexy vampire?
Yeah. I don't think he's a sexy vampire. He's more like, I run the brothel.
I do like some of the cast, yes. Michael Madsen was great.
I thought he was the most debatable of them all. But
Put them on full alert that the monastery has been attacked and the eye is gone.
It's Michael Madsen. You love him or you hate him, right? I mean, I like him as an actor, but at the same time, it was odd seeing him in there.
Because he's always holding his sword out.
Always holding his sword. It's like, put it away, buddy.
I thought Kristanna Loken, who played our Rayne, she did an excellent job. She was a little weak in the stunt aspect, but I thought the rest of everything was pretty solid.
Yes, I'm sure I know which parts you mean.
Finally, we agree on something.
She looked the part.
Yes, very, very good similarity to her from what she looked like in the game and that. So yeah, I can agree.
And in a shocking turn of events, you actually get to see her breasts. And a guy straight up licks her nipple while she's getting that vampire hunter D. It's been a long time since I've both played the game and seen this movie, but I'm actually surprised at the amount of gore and on-screen practical effects and actual bloodshed that we see in this movie. There's a lot of people that die. I would say the upwards of 80 people, maybe more than that, where there's actually blood spraying. And there are some pretty good practical effects.
There's a lot of stabbing and slicing.
And let's not forget mini crossbows.
Any good arsenal should have those.
I also liked our setting. The film was shot in Romania, and it did feel like it was like old school medieval times. Like everything felt natural and realistic.
Based on like seeing the reviews of like people bash this movie as being one of the worst movies ever made. I don't think that it is. It has problems. We'll get into them soon. But like it looks like a high production film.
So what didn't we like? Just gonna say, like, I'm not a fan of the Uwe Boll, and I must say I still am not.
This didn't change your mind at all.
No.
I think this like actually brought it up a notch. After seeing like stuff like Postal and House of the Dead, I think this is on a different level.
I mean, if you look at all of Uwe Boll's films, he either does like over-the-top ridiculous or medieval movies. And the more normal seems to be the medieval movies. So this is kind of like where he can't go wrong.
His bread and butter?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't feel it with him. He just upsets me. He brings this pain to my chest when I watch these movies. I had seen one of his movies prior, Alone in the Dark, and let's just say I was much younger. I kind of enjoyed it.
Are you putting on an accent right now?
I am not.
Are you
I'm just
auditioning
being
for Uwe Boll?
enthusiastic right now. Am I? No. Poof, never.
The biggest downfall of this movie is definitely the pacing. At 30 minutes, I had to pause it, go to the washroom, and we thought it was like an hour in. A lot of stuff happens in small amounts of time. Different factions and vampires and half vampires and circus peeps, and it just feels like it goes on forever.
They give you so much information, yet none of it is really useful. You don't establish who is the main faction, other than we know that Ben Kingsley's character is the bad guy. But then we have like this side story with Billy Zane that doesn't get explored. Brimstone, the 3 artifacts. It's like, here's an idea, here's some lore, but we're not gonna touch on it. We're gonna focus on a like quest for what feels like 20 minutes, but it's only like 2. And you don't get the payoff.
And yeah, specifically the main one is almost like a Zelda situation where you have Link looking for the 3 pieces of the Triforce.
There are 3 talismans. An eye, a rib, and a heart.
Rayne finds the eye, she finds the heart, and the rib is there, and they just like, the movie ends.
Screw it.
They just
You don't need to worry about
completely
it.
dropped it. It's like, oh, if you defeat Ganon, fuck if we need the Triforce anymore. We beat Ganon, who cares? We don't need to do anything else.
With the talismans joined,
Vampires shall rule the earth.
You have these quests from the beginning of the movie and you don't finish the quest. What's the point of having the quests? Another big thing that I didn't like, I know this is really nitpicky, as a fan of BloodRayne series, I played it because I was a horny teenager and thought it was cool, because she wore pleather pants and she just cut people up and it was really fun. She was too dusty. And it wasn't the sharp, like, black and red costume that I loved from the series, and that's unfortunate.
Needed that little shine to it.
Give it a shine. And she wasn't great at fighting. She could do an aerial, but she couldn't fight.
That's one thing too, like the choreography for these fight scenes was not great.
No.
They could have used some help with those still.
Everything was like really bad between the sword fights and like the kicking and the punching and just people like rolling around. It didn't look real.
That kind of brings it back to the Michael Madsen holding a sword the whole time. He doesn't use a sword, and it's so frustrating. Okay, he looks like he belongs in this world based on his hair alone and his big, bulky nature, but he can't fight worth dick, and nor could many people. Even when there's like a training montage, it's like, okay, we're gonna teach Rain how to fight. Well, she didn't get better, and she already knew how to do a bunch of flips, and she was using her own weapons properly before. Then an hour into the movie, here, have these blade things, and now you can try and learn how to use these. It's like, I've been using this since I was 11. They needed stunt people.
Really, Uwe Boll couldn't afford some extra hands.
He was just getting prostitutes. Those were where all the hands went.
It's true, which is kind of cool trivia. Like Meatloaf being the G, just hanging out with actually Romanian prostitutes because they were cheaper than actors. Color grading was trash. It looked like somebody didn't know what they were doing. One scene, we'd have bright orange skies, and then it cuts to like the most bland shit I ever seen. For a long time, I thought that's why she looked so dusty half the time. It's just like, oh, maybe they just didn't bump the contrast in this scene. The contrast is fine in everything else, except she looks like she's been green screened the whole goddamn time. Because it almost looks like there's just like some green spill or something on her black.
I did find that there was some, or at least what I thought, some continuity errors. So there is a scene where Rain has to go and get this particular item, a heart. But then another character is also trying to get it. And it looks like it was filmed literally the same spot, but they're supposed to be at different spots. It didn't make any sense. It's like, okay, those guys are gone now?
I think they tried to flip the footage and make it look like it was a different cavern.
It's,
Yeah, and it's also weird too, like the whole idea, this whole lore in this world is really dumb. Between the fact that a vampire can die from water. It's like an episode of One Piece, you know, you eat the fruit, you can't go in the water anymore. It kills you.
not all of us watch One Piece. We watch better shows.
The internet could watch One Piece.
We watch better anime.
But like the lore of everything is just beyond stupid. When she goes to get the eye, it's the residence of like the priest, okay? So like she's there, they welcome her in, yet she just walks off on her own and goes and like kills the guard. She didn't have to. Like, if she came in and be like, yo, Udo, like, I'm the savior. Could I just, like, walk through here and get this piece? Instead, she, like, kills one of their own, gets it, and she didn't have to.
She went there to get shelter, but of all places she went to, it was the exact place she needed to be.
Yeah, that was just like complete fluke.
Yeah, it just...
Are we picking apart plot holes in an Uwe Boll film?
Yes.
Boy!
Uwe Boll has so much going for him. So much bad.
Whoa, that was a twist.
So now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
BloodRayne, it's another poor adaptation of video game gone movie.
It's worse to make a video game-based movie.
I did, however, like our cast, and the acting was okay in this film, but the story was bad. It was an hour-and-a-half movie that felt like 5 hours, and you didn't even have entertaining fight scenes. But if you want to riff the movie, because that's what people like to do with Uwe Boll films, then yeah, sure, go watch with some friends, have a good time. But be prepared to feel like you're wasting an entire evening. So with that being said, I'm going to give this film 1 Masters of Seduction out of 5.
I was actually shocked at how good this movie looked at first. It was a very high production with a star-studded cast that had a lot of promise. And being a fan of the game, I'm like, it's not Nazis, but it's fine. And then they just kind of dropped the ball on a lot of things. Definitely a lot of plot holes. The action scenes are very poorly edited. There was a lot of bloodshed and some cool practical effects. However, it just was a very boring movie. So I'm gonna give this 1.5 create a character bad guys out of 5.
BloodRayne was not a good movie. I would have preferred the game, of course. Lot of things wrong with it. Plot holes. I liked the actors, but some of the acting in scenes maybe wasn't so good. And yes, choreography, I had said before, and I think we're all kind of agreed on that. And just, yeah, I would have preferred to watch something much better. Anyways, I give this movie 1 damn I'm good out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.